I'd like to call to order the Thursday, June 27th, 2004 meeting of the New Bern Board of Adjustment. And we'd like a roll call, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Board Member Sandra Gray.
Present.
Board Member Kathleen Marty.
Here.
Vice Chairman Eric Thompson.
Here.
Chairman Tim Tabak.
Here.
Board Member Trey Ferguson.
Here.
Board Member Barbara Sampson.
Here.
And Board Member Brendan Lofton.
Present.
And we do have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you. Can we do the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, before we move on with the meeting, is there anybody here that's for the Oaks Road project? 'Cause I know that it was taken off the agenda pretty late, just in case anybody is, we can. So we're good. Okay.
Okay.
As we move forward, please, everybody remember that this is a quasi-judicial hearing, and as we have presentations and talk, the board is only allowed to consider fact. We try to keep emotion out of things the best as possible, and we are going to allow everybody to speak. We do have a timer that we try to limit time to, and if there's anybody that needs to sign up that would like to speak, please sign up on the sign-up sheet so that we can use it to call folks ahead. We'll limit it to 3 minutes per speaker, and we do let folks move over a little bit. And it's our policy that once the presentation is done by the applicant, that we will call for folks in the audience to come up and speak. And once the audience finishes their talks, we'll say, we then will give the applicant the option, if they so desire, to finalize comments with a rebuttal. And I think I've completed the comments, and we need to move forward to the next item on the agenda, which would be the decisions from the last meeting, the Caviness and Kate's multiple residence. Is there any discussion in reference to, well, I guess it's actually 2 meetings ago, in reference to our decision?
No.
So can we call for a vote of acceptance?
Need a motion to approve the written decision?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Are we good, Jamie?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So are there any presenters that are going to come forward this evening? Because we need to swear y'all in. All three?
If anyone's going to speak, they need to come forward, stand, and get sworn in. Okay.
Okay. So I've got to get through. Do you all solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. All right. So do we have a presentation by staff?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and I'm just going to start with also saying, just for the record, that the second item that was scheduled on the agenda will not be presented tonight. This item essentially was not required to have a special use permit. This was confirmed with council, and we worked with the applicant. They've been notified and made sure to receive an explanation on going forward. So their use has been permitted by right, actually, by a difference of use. It did not require a special use permit.
Yeah, thank you for the description.
Chick-Fil-A.
All right, and Mr. Chairman, and good evening to the board. And Mr. Chairman, we're going to start with the first item here, which is the Chick-Fil-A parking lot. And that is special use permit 002-901-2024. The location confirmed on the application was 2900 ML King Jr. Boulevard, New Bern, North Carolina. The proposed use is a automobile parking garages, or parking lots not located on a lot on which there is another principal use to which the parking is related. But in essence, it's a parking lot on a lot that has no actual structure, but it's associated with the primary property, which has the principal use. And the request summary here, the applicant is Rickman, and the owners for the property is HS New Bern Outparcels LLC. The total area is 26 acres, and the parcel identification number is 8-212-19001. The zoning district is commercial 3 or C3. And here is the first map shown on for the vicinity, and it shows the entirety of the parcel. Just to clarify, the parking lot does not take up the entire parcel.
Kendrick, I have a quick question for you. I'm sorry.
Sure. Yes,
Can you
sir.
go back one slide?
Yes, sir.
So this is showing 26 acres, but for the most part, I can see the paperwork showing 0.26 acres.
Yes. It's pretty much, we have to take the entirety of the parcel, but the actual subject area for the parking lot is much smaller.
Okay.
than the
All right.
totality.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And again, that's just the vicinity map showing the entirety for the parcel. And followed by the aerial for the parcel as well. And again, it's highlighted in this yellow color. And lastly, second to last, the zoning map here, we highlighted the parcel in yellow because there's some conflict with the red, but in terms of the yellow, that's showing the parcel and the zoning behind it is a C-3. And lastly, the buffer map, which shows you all the properties that fell within that 100-foot range, which were notified properly. And again, in your packets, you'll see that the notifications were sent. And additional consideration, this is just to confirm, but staff gives confirmation that the application submitted was deemed to be complete, and also staff can confirm that the request is within its jurisdiction in accordance to the table of permissible uses. And lastly, here's the actual physical site plan, and Mr. Thompson will probably give you a better understanding as well for just that situation, but to show what the exact, portion versus the entire parcel is being used. And if the board has any other questions, I'll take those at this time.
Do we have any additional questions, comments?
Where is the dental clinic in relationship to this?
So the dental clinic is actually right in between. It's further south of where you see the parking lot here. And it's essentially, of course, that's already established, but I'll probably let the applicant elaborate more if I'm catching where you're going as far as for how that kind of is going to proceed. But yeah, it's to the south of this parking lot.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the one area that's not shaded in green, I'm assuming?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yep, thanks.
Is parking lot is going to be located anywhere near by the mall? Is it going to take up any spaces by the mall?
So I believe they're working with the mall, or the owner essentially. I believe that HS Outparcels is part of that. They actually have to give the authorization for that to take place. So it's in proximity with the mall. It's very close by, if that makes sense. You could literally walk to the mall from where the parking lot is.
Yeah.
So.
And just for clarification, the total size of that parcel is 2.54 acres. The parking lot is 0.26.
Thank you. Okay. And Kendrick, I just didn't get an opportunity. I did review the packet. However, as far as the road there, I see it's called New Bern Mall Drive or something to that degree. Is that a city maintained street or is that a private road?
I wish I could confirm.
Okay.
I probably have to defer to Public Works. We don't have anybody here specifically to talk
sure.
about that, but
Okay.
they didn't display or discuss anything through the BRC comments.
Right.
I can assume it's probably going to be city maintained, but I'm not 100% certain.
Okay.
Do we have any additional questions or comments?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're good. Thanks, Brenda. So would the applicant like to come forward and discuss the project? And also, maybe y'all could help answer the question about who owns the street.
Yes. A lot to talk about a parking lot. Hi, I'm Cheyenne. I'm with Interplan. I'm with the engineering firm that is,
Can you move the mic down a little bit? Yeah, so we can hear a little better.
Is that
Thank
better?
you.
okay. I'm with the engineering firm designing this project. So this parking lot is, it's going to be part of a master, not a master plan. We're working in conjunction with the mall. They are also going to be developing that area as well. It will be a part of a larger parking area and future stores. However, we're dedicating this space for Chick-Fil-A's use, so our employees can park there and we can utilize the on-site parking for customers. That is generally why we're doing this, but it will be part of more parking lot area that doesn't need a special use permit. So there will be a principal building, but since this is parceled out for leasing, that's generally the direction we're going. But we are in compliance with, well, we're working through the site plan for landscaping, et cetera.
So when
Questions do you have?
the landscaping moves on, will y'all be responsible for landscaping around the entire parcel or just around the 0.26 acre parcel?
Just ours. So we will be irrigating, maintaining the landscape islands on our section, but we probably will work with them all so that it gets a little smoother with the rest of the area.
Okay, fair enough.
And just to clarify, you're mentioning the islands that are required, one per every 10 parking spaces. Is that what you're talking about landscaping?
Correct. Yes. Even though we're cornered out, we're still complying with
Right.
regular standards.
I just have a question that, I know when you can come off MLK, I know you take a right, and I know that they had a street going this way, and they had one going this way. Are they gonna cut either one of those streets, or, or they're gonna still be going this way, that way, two ways?
I believe it's still going to go the two ways. Yeah, I'm not sure if they have any plans on changing that, but I'm under the impression that it'll still, the entrance will maintain the existing. People can turn right, go towards the Chick-Fil-A and this parking area and then the dental practice, or left of the Chick-Fil-A.
So the reconstruction of the Chick-fil-A will actually be in the same location it was, just a different building, and the road will continue past?
Yes, yeah. The Chick-Fil-A is going, sorry, I'm really close. The Chick-Fil-A is going right back in the same spot.
Okay. And then, and that mall drive that we're asking about will continue on in front of the new building over to the parking garage?
Yes.
Okay. I saw a hand. No, we good?
Is the parking, I think you said this, but is the parking lot for customer and employee use, or is it only to be for customer, or only for employee use, so that on-site's for customer, or?
It'll be for both. Anybody can park there. I think we just assume it'll mostly be employees.
Is there any kind of, there's no sidewalk or special designation for walking from the parking lot to the Chick-fil-A?
There will be a marked up crosswalk passing through, and we are providing a sidewalk on the parcel that we're leasing. We don't have the ability to place the sidewalk elsewhere. And then once they do pass through onto the Chick-fil-A property, they will be back onto concrete area into a ramp walking into the Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
So that was really my question earlier about the road. One of these maps that's in here has like a bubble on it, and it looks like a sidewalk. Is that what we're talking about? The north side of this project is where the sidewalk will lead from the Chick-fil-A building to the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not putting a sidewalk on the MLK side of this facility, is that correct?
The parking lot out parcel does not front MLK.
Right. And I know that's the part in question, so I apologize. Yeah.
And I don't believe that we needed to put.
There was a sidewalk on the Chick-fil-A
Hey,
parcel.
hang on one second. We need to let her finish, and then we'll get you to come up so we can get your name and everybody can hear too.
Sorry, I apologize. I only
You're
have the
good.
parking lot plans in front of me, not the
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A,
that's
so I don't recall.
that's a curveball. I'm sorry. I was trying to better understand.
know,
Yeah,
but
it's okay. But so there is going to be just a paved walkway between the parking lot and the Chick-fil-A
Yes.
parcel. Okay,
That's
thank you.
So Kendrick, are you able to put up a map that's got C 2.0 down in the bottom right corner on the screen?
I can try to,
It's maybe 2 pages past where we're at, maybe 3.
give me just a second, I'll see if I can do.
I think this one indicates it here. If you look very closely, there's some.
It's-
Are we talking about the sidewalk that's on the Chick-fil-A parcel that isn't part of this project?
We're trying to understand the continuity between the two, and it looks like one of these maps leads to believe that there is a sidewalk that will be paved, or what's the accessibility between the two parcels?
I
So-
have a printout of that. If you want me to look it up, I can.
Yeah, we could do that too. I guess we could pass it around a little bit bigger. I'd start them on that end, yeah. Get
Just
everybody-
for the record, Mr. Stanton, if you could give the caption for the map that's going around so we can have that in the record.
We'll read it. We'll read it in a minute.
It is the C2.0.
It is the 2.01.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question while we're passing that along.
Real quick,
May I?
just for the record, what the applicant has submitted to the board for consideration is a site construction plan for this project, specifically the site plan C-2.0 of, yeah, I think, is that sufficient for you, Ms. Bullock?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead, Kathleen, sorry.
Good. Yeah, Kathleen?
Is there a barrier or some designation between the new parking lot and what I assume is the current parking lot for the dental office?
There is some landscaping that is separating because that's more just their driveway through. So, yes, there is some barrier.
Yes, 7A is on here. Would that be what 7A is? And now I need to give it back to you so you can see what 7A is. Yeah.
It looks like it's standard curb and gutter
I can't,
up in the top right-hand corner.
it's so small I can't
It is.
read it. I'm sorry. 7A on the drawing. What is that? Tim says it's curb.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, as well as a storm drain. existing.
A what?
A storm drain as well.
And just for the record, since I can see that legend a little bit better, 12 was the item in question on your map there, so, which says concrete sidewalk, so thank you very much for the clarification.
Is the parking lot going to be leased to Chick-fil-A for Chick-fil-A parking, or is it going to be just open general for Chick-fil-A, the dentist practice, maybe more development down the road?
It's going to be leased for Chick-fil-A, but there's not going to be indication that it's only Chick-fil-A. It's going to be in conjunction with the rest of the parking area that's going to be built. So if people cross over, it's...
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any additional questions?
No, I just want to
Yeah,
add,
Bob.
I'm trying to get straight about this. I know, like I say, coming off MLK, got one going to this right, and you got one going to the left. And remember, on the other side, they got traffic coming from that way. Is they gonna cut that part off and reroute it or something? Because it seems like that's gonna be a busy little area.
Yeah, they are working on another project to kind of confine that road. So it's a little bit more clear where you're driving. I know I was out there today. Go anywhere.
So would it be safe to say that y'all are trying to ease the traffic challenges that there have been there for the last couple of years, I guess?
Yeah, and that's the intention of what we're doing with the Chick-fil-A parcel, is so that we can maintain more cars on site with this new design. And that way it's not backing up into the shopping mall.
Nor out onto Martin Luther King, I guess, either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for the record, and forgive me if you've already said this, you're with the engineering firm that's putting together this project, right?
Correct.
Could you just briefly talk about your credentials, education, professional background, just for the record?
Okay. That's a first. I'm with Interplan. We are licensed in all 50 states. Civil engineering firm I've been with for 8 years. Went to UCF, go Knights, in Florida. I'm not good about talking about myself, so no.
And the type of work.
I'm the permit manager.
Say that again.
The permit manager.
Okay, thank you. And this type of project is of the similar types of projects that you and your firm have done for commercial clients, right?
Yes.
Do we have any additional comments, questions? Okay, thank you.
Of course.
And then, I know we had an additional person who was going to come forward and speak, so feel free to come up and name and address and credentials, and we can kind of go from there.
Good afternoon. My name is Melissa Schwartz. I'm the development manager for the project. I work for Chick-fil-A. I'm a consultant with Chick-fil-A. And I am helping with the on-site project as well. There was a sidewalk that was along MLK, but because there were no sidewalks on the adjoining parcels, I think we paid into a sidewalk bank for future construction. And the shopping center is currently working on a project to realign their shopping center road, which is how we were able to move the curb line for the Chick-fil-A to maximize that space. Sorry. And they should be starting construction on their roadway in July. We have been coordinating with them along the way. So, and then this piece of the parking lot, it's a future development. I don't think they've identified a tenant, but they did lease these spaces to Chick-fil-A for their use.
Thank you. The surrounding parcels of this parking lot, do you know what type of surrounding parcels are there? What's the character of that?
I don't have a complete layout of how they look, but it's similar to how the Outparcels along MLK look. I think there's a Starbucks, the Chick-fil-A, the Aspen Dental. So I think their plan is to do similar type out parcel along the adjacent vacant land there.
And in the type of work that you do with the project management, is this, this type, you do these types of projects for your business?
I do. I work for Chick-Fil-A, so I'm on the account.
Okay.
This is my 56th store, and I'm a civil engineer. So I have been helping review the plans along the way, and I've been working with the operator. We have a new operator at this store. Mr. Wren is here if you have any questions for him. But, so yeah, I've been doing this for about 3.5 years.
Okay. Do you have any evidence from this project that this parking lot is going to somehow injure the economic value of the surrounding parcels?
I do not believe so. This parking was going to be built as part of the full, I think it's 5 or 7 acre piece. So we're just kind of beating that development to the permit by building these parking spaces so that the team members have a safe place to park. And then this will also help keep our team members from parking in the Belt parking lot. So we have designated parking spaces for the team members.
Which that Belt parking lot's right across the way, right?
It is.
So this is surrounded by other parking lots for different types of commercial developments in this area, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any additional questions, comments, concerns? Thank you. Mr. Wren, would you like to come forward and speak also? And please state your name and credentials.
Good evening. My name is John Wren. I'm the new franchisee or operator of the Chick-Fil-A here in New Bern. I've been in town for about 3 months. Moved up from Charleston, South Carolina. I began working for Chick-Fil-A in 2002 as a team member, and then became an operator in 2005. And initially, I was an operator in the upstate of South Carolina and then down in Charleston. So my family and I have moved up here from the Charleston area. My wife's from Raleigh, and my wife's grandmother grew up here in New Bern. And we loved it up here. And when Tom Pike, the former operator, retired, I went through a process to basically be selected to fill in for him when he left. But thank you for listening to us about the project. But Ms. Sampson, is that correct?
Sampson.
Yes, ma'am. The intention of the overall project is, first off, my vision for my restaurant is to nourish, serve, and transform our team and community. And my hope is the project for my team members will be a better, safer working environment, and to specifically address the flow at the corner there of MLK and our restaurant. I know that it is congested and has created traffic flow problems. And so the hope with this parking lot for our team members is they have a safe space to park, but also create a better flow through. We've improved our drive-throughs stack in this project, and so ultimately, just from a facility standpoint, we're able to pull a significant amount of more cars on the lot, and then it allows us to utilize our people and systems to get the cars through in a smoother, quicker fashion. It's safer. The canopies and cooling systems and stuff that we're putting in will make a better working environment. And actually the improvements that we're making in the kitchen and all those spaces are really so we can improve the flow. In my mind, this parking allows me to, like I said, give my team members this space for them to park. It will open up spots on the lot. One of the things when I first came, and I noticed that a lot of team members and guests were parking over in the Belt parking lot. It took my breath away watching people go across that street. And so, I would be super excited for, when the team is, they will have to cross, there'll be a crosswalk there, but through that space, I feel like it's a lot safer than coming over from Belt. And I do believe that road is owned by the shopping center. I don't want to say that on record, but I'm pretty sure that's there. But any questions you may have, I'm happy to try my best to answer.
Did I understand that what your testimony is, that one of the purposes of having this off-site parking is to help with the flow of the drive-through operations to kind of get cars moving through quicker?
Yes.
Which would result in less cars backing up onto that mall road and then the MLK?
Yes. For me personally, I see that spot there and it makes me feel not great. I don't like it either, and I want to improve that. And that's my job to do. I see that as my job to make that intersection better. Like literally, I know that I need to work hard with my team to improve that. So I think through the facility and through our hard work, we can and will improve that flow there.
You said prior to this, you had another store?
That's correct. I have been at 2 different locations. I was a team member first, and then I went up to Easley, South Carolina, which is outside of Greenville, and then I relocated to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, which is close to Charleston. I grew up in a little town called Georgetown, South Carolina, which is close there. And so I operated, so I was an operator in the Greenville area for about 4 years. And then I came down to Mount Pleasant to go to that, open that brand new in December of 2008. We opened that. And then I gave that location up in order to come up here and operate this location. My family and I moved up here.
So about long have you been in business operations for the company?
For the company, so as a team member first, 2002, and then as an operator in 2005. So that's 18 years as an operator, and then the additional time as a team member. So over 20 years in total.
And in your professional experience as an operator, have you seen an increased efficiency in the flow of drive-through operations by having this type of parking set up?
Certainly. It exponential. Part of it, the facility and the flow in the parking lot, everything is geared towards that flow, assuming I do my job well. And I'm going to give it everything I can to do that. I live here. I live in this town. Our customers are my neighbors. I see them in the grocery store, and I don't want folks having to wait in that line out there on MLK. I don't want to back up the road. So yes, I mean, across the country, it's a big initiative to improve our flow, to make these things better. And this is the most, I would say, cutting edge, the newest model that we have as a company. I'm sure there could be a couple here and there, but in general, this, it doesn't get any newer or better in terms of what Chick-Fil-A provides than what we've done here. And that's not on my dime. That's Chick-Fil-A Inc. comes in to support me with the facility and that sort of thing.
And in your experience your professional experience as a restaurant operator, has this type of structure that you have said is cutting edge, has it ever decreased property values in the area?
I'm not an expert, but I would say no. I would certainly say that I'm an expert on Chick-fil-A. I'm not a real estate expert.
You see where I was trying to go a little bit, okay.
I'm not, I have met you anyhow, but no, not at all. This will significantly improve that area in terms of traffic flow, and just, it's going to be a lot nicer, and certainly, I've never seen it decrease value. I think it's good. It will help.
Okay.
In my mind.
Thank you.
I'd be willing to make a gamble on that.
Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. What's your percentage of customers that use the drive-through as opposed to inside dining?
This will be not this will be an educated guesstimate, and I could go back and get you that if you need that number. I'm certainly happy to do it. Generally speaking, within Chick-Fil-A, it's above 50% and approaching probably the 60% range, 60+%, depending on how well we kind of get the flow. If the drive-through's not flowing, then guests tend to select another option, typically carry out. They'll park, walk across the street, pick up their food, and then drive away. So, well over, I would say my particular location, close to 55-60%.
Is drive-through.
Yes.
Thank you.
And just coming back to your relocation, you may have mentioned this. How long ago did you take over this unit?
I've been there about 3 months. I took
3
over
months.
March 1 was my first official day.
Okay, so you were able to get a very good taste of the traffic flow and really what was needed in order to improve this project.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is it fair to say that if for some reason this project wasn't able to go through as to the off-site parking, if you didn't have access to that off-site parking for your restaurant, that you'd still would be in the predicament of having staff park either on-site or across from the belt, that you'd still have a parking issue?
We will, yes.
And,
Yes.
and,
We will.
if you weren't able to have that off-site parking, you would end up with, again, a similar flow issue when it comes to drive-through efficiency and backup of cars.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Potentially, team member shortage, and that could back up worse, without the means.
Are you planning on having a double drive-through? I call it a double drive-through, when you have 2 drive-throughs. One drive-through here and drive-through here, then that kind of
It's,
helps the flow.
it is 2, yes ma'am, it's 2 lanes all the way around. The good news is in the new layout, as the cars exit, they don't have to cross with the cars entering. So that would be a big help in itself. In the current set, well, it's gone now, but previously, as they exited the drive-through, they would have to cross the cars coming into the lot. So now, they're not gonna cross, so immediately that's gonna help. And it will be 2 lanes all the way around, and we can use that to, you could hand food to both of those cars, or you can do is what we call it, like an escape lane, which means we keep that space open so you could go and allow someone to exit so they're not caught in there. So there's different strategies and plays that we execute in order to improve the flow or do that sort of thing. But yes, in this case, we'll have the 2 lanes all the way. And I'm happy to expand on any of this stuff best I can.
Do we have any additional questions, comments? Do you have any additional information you'd like to add?
I just would thank you for allowing us this opportunity to speak to this, and I don't know what the mall is doing. We can't speak to what they're doing, but I do think that we will make it nice. The parking lot will be nice. We'll have the landscaping nice, and it will be extremely nice for the team members. And genuinely, I just want to take care of them, and I feel like if I take care of them well, then that translates over to our guests and our community, and I think everyone needs.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I guess we don't have any additional public comment?
Which never happens.
Y'all must be doing something right. Jamie, do we need
No
to
one has
open and
to
close
speak.
public comment, or do we just acknowledge that there's nobody here and move on?
Acknowledging that there are no public present, I think it's official.
Okay, so yes, there's no public present for public comment, so we're going to move on. So,
They just want to get Chick-fil-A reopened so they can get food.
yeah, thank you to the public on that one. Yeah, so do we have any discussion with the board before we move to the voting process? Comments?
I think we covered it pretty good, but I would like to just say that I think in a sense, number 4 here is well covered, that it's enabling better health and safety for the community by adding this versus not. And I don't know that that's necessarily opinionated with the people crossing from the parking lot. So.
Sure. And I'll add, I'm one guilty that used to park at Belks and run across the road and probably had more than one person hit the brake card. So, yeah,
but I don't
agree with you
know
100%.
the study to show that, so I guess
Yeah.
it could be.
Yep. Same here.
I also think that from the testimony that we heard from the civil engineer, who I certainly would submit as an expert in this matter, and then the professional restaurant operator, who I would also submit as an expert in this matter, that I think, based on both of their experience, that we achieve the issue for safety on number 4, and I don't hear any evidence that says that the surrounding parcels would suffer economically. Honestly, from a traffic, not traffic, but a drive-through efficiency, and how that's going to help with some of the backup on MLK from what we all know is, I think, can take public notice of the traffic backup, that this may even be a public necessity, but I think we've heard sufficient evidence to say that the surrounding parcels are not going to be affected economically. We're substantially injured for number 5, so I feel very comfortable moving forward.
So do we have any additional comments, or should we move forward on a vote?
Move forward.
Okay, so Jamie, would it be okay if we don't do a roll call and we just have a hand vote for each of the 6?
You can do a voice vote or a show of hands for each individual item, yes.
Okay.
I move the requested permit is within the jurisdiction according to the table of permissible uses.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We move on to number 2. The application is complete. Do we have a motion?
I move.
Motion that the application is complete.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comment? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If completed as proposed in the application, the development will comply with all of the requirements of this ordinance. Do we have any discussion?
Oh, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 4, that the use will not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed, and development according to the plan as submitted.
Make a motion. Let me accept that.
Second.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, number 5, that the use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, or that the use is public necessity. Any discussion? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any additional comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And Mr. Chair, just to be clear, is the board finding that the project will not substantially reduce the value of adjoining or abutting properties, or are you finding that it's a public necessity?
My motion, and I should have clarified, so I apologize. My motion was that, based on the testimony that we heard from on the applicant and what I believe to be some experts, that the use will not substantially injure the value of the adjoining or abutting property.
Was that everyone's understanding of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we good?
Yes.
Thanks for keeping us accountable.
Moving on to number 6, that the location and character of the use, if developed according to the plan as submitted and approved, will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located and in general conformity with the plan of development of the city.
I think what we heard, we didn't discuss this topic, but I think from all of the witnesses we heard from, this is surrounded by parking lots. There's possible future development. It's a very high volume commercial space that I think is going to, it's a mall, and so I think this is absolutely within the character of the use that's currently there and the use that will continue.
Do we have any additional comments, questions, discussion? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Are we okay, Jamie, with where we're at?
Just to be clear, Ms. Marty, your motion was that the location and character of the use, if developed according to the plan as submitted and approved, will be in harmony with the area in which is to be located in general conformity with the plan of development for the city?
Correct.
Okay, you're good.
Good. So that's the motion and the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. So do we have a motion finding each of the 6 elements? Any addition or discussion?
No, I would move to issue the permit
Second.
Okay, so do we need to have a more concise wording there, Jamie? Are we
No,
good?
sir.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries and the permit's issued.
I figured we can't add a condition that we get Chick-fil-A serving, this month, right? I mean, we can't add that condition. Just
Can we have?
for the record, it was a joke.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks. Motion carries. That may have been a record for us. So